As many of you know, I was recently in Melbourne, Australia on a work trip, or Melbourne as the Aussies call it. I was only there for 4 days, and the flight time to get there was a ridiculous 19 hours total from DC, but I did get to do a little sightseeing when I wasn't working. Speaking of sightseeing, when I told one of my subscribers that I was headed to Australia, the first response was, "Hey, prostitution is legal there." I said, "Yeah, right, no it isn't. I'm sure I would have heard about that a long time ago if that were true." I looked it up and it turns out we were both kind of right. In all of the states in Western Australia, it's not legal, but in almost all of the states in Eastern Australia, including Victoria, where Melbourne is, it's regulated and legal. If I hadn't been told, though, I never would have known because they're apparently not allowed to advertise except online or in age-restricted magazines. I never saw the slightest sign of them when I was there, so I guess they followed the advertising rules pretty closely. Their currency is the Australian dollar, which is currently worth a little more than 90 cents American. Everything under $5 is a coin instead of paper, with each coin decorated with some kind of Australian animal. I saw platypus, kangaroo, and emu coins when I was there. Their money is very colorful, and each bill has a little transparent window that I've never seen on any other currency before. See, here's the bright red $20 bill with a little window, and here's the bright purple $5 bill with a little window. Food was a bit more expensive than in the United States, however, tax and tip are always included, and in fact I tried to tip one woman at a place where I went, and she refused, telling me that they paid a living wage to restaurant workers in Australia. I thought that was a nice concept, though I'm not sure the Tea Partiers would approve. They're also very anti-gun, and some of the people I worked with there asked me if I knew anyone that owned a gun. They were a bit shocked when I told them that I personally knew lots of people that owned guns. I told them it was constitutionally protected here, which they knew, but they did also correctly point out that their murder rate is a fraction of what it is here. I read a few articles about Australian culture before I went over there, and in one article they said that Australians are very welcoming and friendly, but not as sensitive about some things as we are in the States. To illustrate this, I was at a wine bar for a little while after work one day and chatted with a lovely bartender as I sipped some Riesling. A couple well-dressed businessmen, one probably in his 50s and the other probably in his 60s, came in and struck up a conversation with me. The younger one was interested to know how I thought the economy was in the US, and I told him I thought it was not great overall, but perhaps slowly improving. He was not at all shy about telling me, a total stranger, that the economy in that stranger's country had been smoke and mirrors for a long time, and that really this was a fairly predictable outcome. He hoped that we got it together soon. Then, as if to punctuate the point that Aussies are a little bit different, the older businessman nonchalantly told the bartender that she had really beautiful legs, and it didn't seem to creep her out at all. The guy was 100% right, by the way, I just never would have said it. There are some stereotypes that they completely fulfilled, and others not so much. I found the accent to be very charming. For instance, they love to say, "No worries." They don't seem to like Foster's beer very much, but I guess that means they actually have good taste. One of their favorite foods for when they go out to the pub is called a parma. A parma is just a chicken parmesan on a bed of French fries. They just shorten the word to parma instead of parm like we do. Speaking of food, I also had these little fluffy sponge cakes with some kind of fruit jam filling called lamingtons, which are apparently quintessentially Australian. One of the people I was working with there got some for me from the bakery, and they were quite tasty. Oh, and speaking of food, if you like any type of Asian food, you are in luck. Due to large numbers of Asian immigrants, there are many restaurants to choose from in Melbourne that specialize in food from probably a dozen different Asian countries. I had Chinese food and Malaysian food when I was there, and it was all excellent. If you ever go to Australia, though, there's one food that you should never expect to see on a menu, or hear uttered from the lips of any self-respecting Aussie. Bloomin' onion. Oh, wait, I can't end this yet. The banner contest winners need to be announced. Now, I expected about 2 or 3 people to enter. Instead, I had about a dozen people enter. I really wish I could display them all, but I did keep and appreciate them all. If I decide to switch one out later and use yours, I'll give you a shout out as well. Curious1 made a great banner from our YouTube channel that really captured the spirit of the channel perfectly. And Matt Loves Rush made an excellent banner as well that I decided would be a better fit for my blog TV page, so you can see it there. Thank you all who entered and all my subscribers, because without you, Krakistan would be a lonely place.